the margins for this property was really, really good. And I left enough room that for error. If I messed up, I knew that I could recover from it. The best advice I could give someone that's doing their first deal or 10th deal would be leave room for error. You don't make money on real estate when you sell. You make money on real estate when you buy.
Hey guys, welcome to another Investor Spotlight. Parker with REI Funding Partners. So happy to have JacQuan Winters here. I've known JacQuan for several years. We go a little back, and this was our first deal to kind of do together.
Right.
And your very first real estate deal. You have been involved with real estate for a while on the residential side, commercial side, and then you dived into investing on your own. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you do not only real estate, you've got nonprofit. You do a lot in the community. So we're excited to kind of showcase his first deal and allow you to talk about it, man. So happy that you're here.
Oh, thank you all for being here with me, man. And I appreciate the video. Little bit about me, simple guy from Tuscaloosa. I actually have a background in children. As you mentioned, I have a nonprofit for youth suicide prevention and mental health awareness for kids. And that came about after my sister died.
Yeah.
11 years ago, actually. She passed away when she was 11 years old. And so we started a nonprofit for her namesake. How did I get into real estate? I was kind of doing that nonprofit on the side of other jobs. Like, I worked at the University of Alabama. I worked for other local nonprofits, juvenile probation and such. But my job before going into real estate, I was working that job and they fired me.
Yeah.
They fired me. And so I kind of got tired of having a boss, someone to look over my shoulder and tell me what I can't do and so forth. So I dived into real estate, started in residential and, did that for maybe a year and a half. And I got to the point where I said, I want to do something to stand out amongst our agents, and kind of found commercial, fell in love with it. Here we are. I actually looked yesterday. It's been 4 years since I did my first commercial deal.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, man. So again, just a simple guy who loves the community, but, loves real estate, mental health and such.
So thank you for highlighting your sister. So it's the Emerson Youth Foundation. And we'll have a link to that in this video if you want to click on that and learn more about that or maybe get involved with that. So that transition from, that's a pretty common thing with people in real estate. They either something's just not going right and they want to find some purpose, and sometimes, a closed door is the biggest blessing. Right. And that's allowed you to kind of springboard into your career. And now, JacQuan, you just recently in the last year or so got your CCIM.
Yeah. So I got my CCIM, I want to say it was the end of 2023. And so I'm one of the first African Americans to do that here in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
So I asked for the D first. And so that's been a big deal because it's a huge designation.
Yeah.
It's like time consuming, costs a lot of money, and it's just hard.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. So congrats to you. So he's a commercial broker with Pritchett Moore Realty. So you're not only, in real estate, you're actually doing it yourself. And so that stands out to a lot of people. So with this being your first deal, tell us a little bit about how you found it. And then, a lot of people watching are maybe in that analysis paralysis where they're like, hey, because you were, in real estate for 4 years, you said 4 or 5 years ago. That's your, this year you finally pulled the trigger. What was it that made you take that step to finally get into it yourself on the investment side?
Oh, I think, man, truly God aligned everything how it should to make it where I could do this and not have no stress out about it and so forth. I really didn't find this deal. This deal found me. Yeah. At the end of 24 around like Christmas, I had a friend who reached out and she said, hey, I want to sell my house. And I know that that neighborhood. I actually grew up in this subdivision.
Okay. So, I didn't know that.
Because she said, I know you know this neighborhood and such, and share what you might list in property for me. I looked at it. I knew exactly which one it was and said, well, how about I buy it from you? Yeah. And she was like, yeah, let's talk about that. And so we, crunched some numbers and went back and forth for a little while and finally made an offer. And yeah.
So what I hear out of that is a couple of things. So we're a huge company of faith. You and I personally have talked a lot about faith. Everything happens for a reason. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. But more importantly, you for several years building your network. I tell people all the time, it's cliche, but your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that person, and they didn't know what you were doing, they never would have reached out to you to go, hey, this house is here. I know JacQuan, from years past. I know that he's in real estate, so let me reach out to him.
Yeah.
So I do believe that that's a God thing, and it's kind of special with you growing up in this neighborhood. It'd be your very first deal. So
Yeah.
I don't, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, but then she has a real estate license. So she couldn't, she was too occupied with other things. And back in 24, I had a really, really, my largest transaction on the commercial side. I sold a $1.9 million warehouse, and it kind of, gave me a nice commission that I could just put aside. And I was like, all right, I'm going to, use this to get into investment and such. And so, the stars aligned as what I was saying. She called, I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah. Well, there's another important part there. It's like, okay, hey, you made a good chunk of change on the commission. Most people would go, okay, hey, let's go on a vacation, or let's go, buy a fancy car or whatever. You go, no, let's put that aside for investing. That's a big thing. So that's very wise. Okay. So getting into this project, this being your first, what's some advice on that very first deal for people watching?
The best advice I could give someone that's doing their first deal or 10th deal would be leave room for error. I've been in real estate almost 5 years now. I've heard a lot of my investors say, you don't make money on real estate when you sell. You make money on real estate when you buy. Right. And it makes so much sense now because, the margins for this property was really, really good. And I left enough room there for error that, if I messed up, I knew that I could recover from it.
Yeah.
Right. Leave room for error.
That's super important because, you can't really change the ARV, but you can change your scope of work, meaning leave room for a lot of contingency and then buy it for the right price, like you said, that gives you that margin of error to still make it good. What was it like, okay, well, you've got to get funding for this project. There's, auctions out there for short-term funding. What was it like working with REI funding partners, as we funded this project? How did that go for you?
It was simple, I'm a big believer in getting several bids, right? So I went to a few bankers. I was like, hey, give me a term sheet, and you all had the best terms, lowest down payment, so forth, and it was just the easy button. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been taught. Look for the easy button.
That's right.
You don't want anyone that's gonna make you jump through all of these hoops, hurdles, and so forth. Like, for the banks, I had to, update my personal financial statement. Yeah, right. I think you all didn't care about that. You just, hey, send us your accounts. Let's do a soft credit pull. But even from there, just having access to the funds to do the project, because I would fund the deal myself and then come to you all for the draws and so forth. And that was just a simple process. Just a few snapshots and submit it. Hey, answer these few questions and so forth. So it was just the easy button. So I appreciate you all for stepping in and getting this deal done. But also, not only that, man, I will say one of the biggest things for this deal is I put it on the contract. I wrote the offer, sent it to the owner, and then like an hour later, I got a call that my grandfather had passed away. And so like that 2 week time frame was, I'm getting emotional thinking about it, but that 2 week time frame was just, very critical because I'm like, I had to text the owner and like, hey, my granddad died last night and I know we just went on the contract. So just kind of, bear with me. I may need a little more time to get it done as I try to manage his estate and all of that. But, it still was the easy button. We buried him, closed within, I think it was 21 days. And so you all, you just stepped in and, if you made a hard time for me easy.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that, man. And I remember that. And look, you're continuing to honor him through what you do. So a big part of him still lives in you. And I know we talked about that, a month or so ago. And so, no, I appreciate it because we value relationships over everything. That's what sets us apart from other lenders out there. Because like you said, you could go to a traditional bank and they need this and that. And most of the time you're another loan number and sometimes they don't understand investment real estate. And so, I'm happy to hear you say that. And that's exciting, man. So we appreciate you. Tell us about the next steps. Like, what does the future look like for you? Okay, hey, it's got this one on the market, and we'll have a link to the listing here. He just went live a couple days ago. And so what we want to do is learn more about what your future goals look like. Because I know a little bit of him. You got something coming up here soon. But
yeah, man. So we just had our first child. So, I mean, I'm just trying to do what I call the Parker Grissom Parker Grissom model, meaning, buy a property for each child that. And so, my son was born back in September of last year. And so I'm like, this is your project. So, but it kind of changed my mindset on just real estate investing. I'm like, I want to build something for his legacy, for him to take when I leave. But to answer your question, we close on another property here on this upcoming Tuesday.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're closing on another project. I'm still doing deals on the commercial side.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm excited that this other deal found me.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll do another video on that one. But
yeah, that's right.
That's the next step. We're doing another project.
All right. So this is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. JacQuan is a realtor. He's got this one listed himself. Beautiful kitchen, man. So yeah, you completely remodeled this house.
Oh yeah, man. We added this island, put new caps in, new countertops, this pantry. We redid the laundry room. There's some stuff over here, like redid all of that.
Yeah, that tile in the laundry room looks great, man. So brand new cabinets, brand new granite, new appliances. Man, this looks good. It seriously does. Extra cabinet space for families. That's gonna be huge for them.
Yeah,
we got brand new LVP flooring.
Like, yeah, and I was a little afraid to do the light color, but I mean, it really worked well.
Yeah.
This has great natural light.
Oh yeah.
And you go through here, you have,
door area
yeah,
coming in. You have two living areas.
Yeah.
It's huge, man.
Yeah.
This is, when you were showing me earlier, this is one of my favorite rooms in the house. It's unique, vaulted ceilings, brick. It's, I could see a lot of watching football games in here.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah. This one is, huge, man. And, we're blessed to be able to turn something into a future home for someone.
Yeah.
And then you got, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, you got a bedroom.
Yeah. So 4.2.
Mm-hmm.
How much square footage do you have here?
We have about almost 2,300.
Okay.
And
so total update on the bathroom there, subway tile.
Yeah.
Everything, you got recessed lighting, new fixtures, everything's brand new in this house. It looks great.
Yeah. And same thing downstairs, you got 2 more bedrooms. Only thing that we did different down here was we put carpet on the stairs.
Okay. And what's cool about this house is it's laid out really well for a family that can kind of separate from each other and have their own little space. Beautiful down here, and bathroom, 2 bedrooms and 1 bath down here, 2 living areas, and we have some outdoor footage we'll show here in a second. Beautiful landscaping.
Yeah. So this one has a porch, but 2 patios.
Porch, but 2 patios.
Yeah. So we put carpet down here, like I said, and I think someone wanted to rip out the bookshelf, but I'm like, no, that's
great.
Yeah, you keep that.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the house in a nutshell, man. Like, you can kind of see the patio areas right here, but I know you only gonna go outside and live around and such. But man, great house for entertaining. I'm hoping a great family gets it.
Oh, I believe it will. And man, thank you so much for showing us around. As you're watching this, you can you'll see the before and after photos. So great job, JacQuan. This is your first property, and you've got another one lined up, man. So the future looks bright for you.
Hey, man, thank you.
Yeah, Lee. Appreciate you, man.
All right, bud.
Yep.